Hey, what's up, man? What's going on? What's up? How you guys doing? Hey, Sixth Estate, me, Steven, Ogden. What's going on? Ah, well, then I guess that was good timing, huh? Hey, Flathead, Miko, Fort Worth. What's up, man? DR, never seen that name. Hey, Patrick. Well, Patrick, that's one of those controversial subjects, and, there was only one channel that I saw really talking about it, and they're just babbling on and on about some stupid 0404 crap. So, hey, Best Crisis. Flow Rider, what's up, bro? BBAB22. Hey, you said it, Lori, not me. Hey, Kat. This was, as I understand it, as I've been able to piece together, this was the case when he went to the public defender's office and he was filling out the paperwork. What's up, WTT? And something happened. They wouldn't let him see the PD or something. I'm not exactly sure. It's been a while since I saw the video. But he he's Eric, he does what Eric does. And he was very frustrated with them and he showed it. No, he's not in jail. Sentencing, as I understand it, is in February. Of course, he'll appeal it, which he should. Um, whether or not they put a stay on the sentencing pending an appeal, that's another matter. I'm not sure whether or not they will. And my biggest thing is, okay, WTT, thanks. Fort Worth, nah, man, I'm from Long Island. But yeah, I mean, this is what at first I thought it was the judge case. Hey, Bev, I thought it was the judge case, but I was wrong. And this one took place in an actual office, not out on the sidewalk. Now, of course, you understand the difference in traditional public forums, like a sidewalk. And no, I don't, Fort Worth. Never heard the name. But there's a big difference between traditional public forum and public property. And hey, Eric, what's up? Jamie Smith, what's going on? But, on a traditional public forum like a sidewalk, traditional means you're traditionally able to express your constitutional rights. You can go out and say a lot of things that you can't say in other places, like most public property. Hey, Dee Dee. Hey, Sarah, Patty. But, as you know, that a public property like a public defender's office or a police station or welfare building or whatever, you can be trespassed from there. They do have policies. That's why there's a difference between public property and traditional public forum. And in this case, it was public property, not a traditional public forum. And we all know that Eric can get very abrasive. He can be very irate. And the secretaries did not take too kindly to Eric's commonly used response, we shall say. Yeah, I know he got one or two cases was dismissed, and then he got convicted on these two. He got convicted on threats and public disturbance. There's a real big one there. What is that? That's got a sentence of like 15 minutes. Hey, Hesperia. Yeah, I hope I said that right. Yeah, I know. That's what I was going to say, WTT. As I understand it, they took less than 5 minutes to return with a guilty verdict. There's no sentence yet. News Now Forwards. It's not. They're not. Sentencing hearing is not until February 14th. Yes, Paige. That's exactly what it means. Hey, Shaitan. Well, that's the thing about jury trials. When you get a jury trial, most jurors do not care about the Bill of Rights. They do not care about any amendments added after the Bill of Rights. No, he's not in jail right now, and as I understand it, the max sentence is upwards of like 8 years. But in either case, jurors don't care about the First Amendment. They don't give two craps about any of that. They hear a guy in an office yelling and being irate with or around, secretaries that are just trying to do their job, whether you agree with it or not. Most average jurors are going to say, he's yelling and screaming. What the heck's wrong with that guy? Yeah, he's guilty. Oh, okay, WTT, my mistake. I was going by general consensus, so if I'm wrong, I apologize. Hey, Mito. Most jurors don't even want to be there. They want to, do their jury duty and get out. Hey, RES, what's up? Yeah, RES, the problem is he can appeal it, yeah, and he should. I mean, everybody should always appeal if they feel they were innocent or wrongly convicted or, excessive charges, whatever the case may be. I understand that. My point is just jurors. Okay, Lanley, that's great. Eric can fill in the blanks. Now, follow the law. I'm not going to run around here and just say, oh, yeah, they're public employees. You should handle them with kid gloves or you should yell at them and call them names or whatever. Well, yeah, Eric, that's my point. Jurors are not, they don't, unfortunately, most just don't want to be there. They just want to rush through it and be done. I'm wondering if you might have had a little bit better chance going with a bench trial and hoping for a judge that believed in the Constitution. But yeah, it would be great if we can make sure that, without a doubt, juries, went by the Constitution and constitutional rights. It would be great. But the fact is, I personally, I don't know a single person. Well, no, I can't say that because my ex did it and she enjoyed it. But she's the only person I've ever known that actually enjoyed doing jury duty. And she enjoyed it because she wanted to do the right thing. But I mean, well, yeah, MD, you're right there too. A lot of people, and I've been guilty of it before. We do go by TV a lot of times. You know, but the fact is, I mean, if this is the video I remember, Eric, was this the public defender's office? You were there just trying to sign the paperwork, and they were giving you a hard time. Hey, 702. Okay, so if that's the one I remember, I don't remember Eric getting incredibly irate. I mean, granted, it's been a while since I watched that video. So, but I mean, I don't remember him. Yeah, I don't remember him being so irate that it would be interpreted as a threat. Gavin sign can get you to Mexico. I mean, don't get me wrong. Like I said, in all honesty, a lot of Eric's reactions and, actions, I don't agree with. But as long as he's legal, I have no right to tell him not to do whatever it is he's doing. So, I mean, I know everybody's got their own opinions about it, but I still don't remember it being a threat. No, Shaitan, I'm sure Eric's actions are a direct influence on their verdict. Like I said, the jury wasn't sitting there going, okay, I've got the First Amendment written out right here. Did he follow it or violate it? Most likely they went in there and sat down and said, all right, guys, I want to get home for dinner. Let's just make this quick. Guilty? Okay, done. I mean, I'd bet anything that's pretty much the process they undertook. Now, my big thing is not just this verdict. Hey, Val. My big thing isn't just this verdict. My big thing is how will this affect his other case of being charged with threatening a judge? Because if they uphold the guilty verdict on this of threatening a secretary, imagine how that's going to affect threatening a judge. No, I get that, Tex Rose. I'm just saying not everybody agrees with all of his methods. That's all. Like I said, as long as he's legal, it's not like I can tell him he's doing it wrong or he shouldn't do this or shouldn't do that. Even if I don't agree with it, as long as he's legal, that's what matters. DJ, Eric Brandt was found guilty of threats and I believe disturbing the peace stemming from a case of an incident at the public defender's office. Yeah, I mean, I'm all for making change and spreading knowledge. Now, I don't agree. Well, there you go. There, I'll make it so you can. All right, Eric, go ahead and post the link. Yeah, exactly. I mean, like I said, I don't always agree with Eric's methods. I just don't. Yeah, exactly, Shaita. I mean, it's the style that it's not for me. It's not. I don't agree with his style, but like I said, as long as he's legal, he could do whatever he wants. That's true of all of us, you know. A lot of people don't like the way Slacker does his audits and his reactions, but you know what? As long as he's legal, that's all that matters. Hey, Darlene. Yeah, you know, see, that's the downfall of juries, you know. Yeah, well, you know, Eric, that I'm hoping all of that was on record so that you could bring that up during appeal. And like I said, man, my biggest concern is if they uphold the verdict on this, you're pretty much guaranteed a guilty on the threatening of a judge. I mean, that's going to set precedents. So, I mean, that's the biggest thing. Yeah, buyer of sorts. I mean, like I said, I don't agree with that. I don't think that that's the right way, in my opinion, because in my opinion, this is about spreading knowledge. You know, making sure not just that officials are held accountable for their actions, but that they understand the law. I mean, countless times we've seen videos of secretaries or security guards or whatever. No, you can't film me without permission. You need my permission. I mean, how many hundreds and hundreds of videos have we seen that in? So to me, it's about spreading that knowledge to those people that, hey, look, this is legal. You may not like it, but it is legal. You know, it's about spreading knowledge and helping citizens also understand, because I brought this up in a few comment sections, but when I first started getting into being on the side of auditors and supporting them, I started reading a lot of comment sections in some of the big named Taryn, but I was reading all the comment sections on like James Freeman's videos and Johnny Five O's videos and SHTC Prez. I was reading those comment sections and I came across a lot of instances of people saying, you know, hey, I was out with my family walking down the street when we were, you know, filming ourselves just, you know, out in public. And I was walking by a police station or wherever, and they were told, you can't film here. You need to stop filming. And they stopped because they didn't know they were actually legal in their actions. They believed the person that said it was illegal until they started watching the auditing videos. Then they realized, hey, it is legal. We can do that. You know, and that to me was like a good, you know, proof of concept. It brought home the point. Um, really, somebody kill that just because I don't need that name getting me demonetized or some crap. You know, but you know, it's just the bottom line is for me, auditing is about spreading knowledge. Okay, nobody else is going to do it. Damn it. News not marijuana. Hey, man. Um, The general, the synopsis of it is Eric was found guilty on two charges today: a threats charge and a disturbing the peace charge. He is not in jail. Um, he is pending sentencing in February. Of course, he'll appeal it, and hopefully they put a stay on it until the appeal is done. Oh, for crying out loud with these stupid children. Anything like that, just nuke it. I mean, it's just dumb. Yeah, 702. Hello, monkey. But like I said, I remember the instance, and I remember watching it live, and I don't recall him ever. So he may have gotten loud and irate as Eric does, but I don't remember him saying anything remotely threatening. So I don't even know where that came from. I mean, disturbing the peace I can see, but I don't recall seeing him threatening on that particular incident. Yeah, I mean, like I keep saying it, but like I said, my biggest concern is if they uphold the verdict, how will it affect his other case? No, I agree, DJ, man. I'm sick of it too. You can't honestly believe that. I mean, like I said, whether you agree with him or not, you cannot honestly believe that a jury that goes back for less than 5 minutes properly analyzed the case to come to that determination. There's no way. I'm sorry, but there is just no way. That was verdict by feelings. That was. I'm sorry, but that's it's kind of a chance you take when you have a jury. But the fact is, those jurors didn't care about anything but getting home. They saw a guy that got loud in an office and said, "Oh yeah, that's disturbing the peace." Yeah, but he's guilty of disturbing the peace. What's that other charge? Yeah, just say guilty on both. Yes, a verdict is a verdict, but a verdict by feelings is not fair. Any judge should be able to say, "You were back there for less than 5 minutes. You did not analyze this case. We are throwing your verdict out and turn it into a bench trial." At least then you might get lucky and have a judge that believes in the oath he took. Yes, marijuana. Yeah, there's also annoying rodents in Colorado too that just won't shut up about 0404. Yay, whatever. Sorry, couldn't resist. Yep, Tex Rose, that's exactly right. Oh, I know, I agree, WTT. That's why I say Beaver. I say, like, and I've said it many times, I don't agree with Eric's methods most of the time, but as long as he's legal, I cannot say he's doing it wrong. I would never act that way. I don't believe in acting that way, but that's just me. Is that the real Justin Emo? There's only about 50 of them floating around. We should make it really interesting and have WTT on the panel. That could get really ugly. Looks like somebody's got a crush on you, WTT. Okay, guys, go get a room. Yeah, but the fact of the matter is this. Okay, I see a lot of people saying we need to come together and take up arms and stand up against the government's tyranny. And okay, so what happens? The government still has, aircraft carriers, fighter jets, nukes. I mean, yeah, you might, storm one or two buildings before they, blow you up. What I do agree with is trying to find better, God, I can't believe I'm saying this, but better politicians. Is that even possible? All right, Emo, now you're just getting like, oh, that's just gross. Well, I've also heard people that are like, oh, stand up and stop paying your taxes. It's like, okay, first off, taxes are taken out automatically. Second off, you can't just stop paying your damn taxes. What good is that going to do? They're the ones that print the money. And you know what? No matter what, in the end, yeah, but DJ, it doesn't matter if everyone stands on the front line. That just makes it easier for them to blow us up. I mean, honestly, that's really all it would do. I think that cases like this, I think it would be great to allow, even if it's only post trial, allow the defendant to face the jury. I mean, can you imagine if Eric was allowed to face that jury that jumped on him without even talking about it and just said, I want to get home to my wife or husband or whatever and eat cookies. Let's just say he's guilty and go home. Can you imagine if they actually allowed Eric to face that jury? Yeah, see, tax roads, that's what I mean. Okay, people stop paying their taxes. Now you got government employees showing up at your door with guns to drag you off to a cage. So then what? I got my zombie slayer and my jungle survival blade. You know, it doesn't matter if they laugh at him and leave. The point is, if you can get through to just one person, I mean, think about it. Auditors, all of us associated with auditing, period, we get so much hate from the outside world, and 99% of that is because of all these hundreds of fake auditor channels that keep popping up. I mean, I can't tell you how many times I've come across new channels that I never even heard of that have thousands of subscribers. And when you watch the videos, they mostly look like freaking Minnesota Guardian videos. And it's just like, well, no wonder why the freaking public hates us by and large. So, Ken, you think it's fair for a jury to come up with a verdict without even talking about it and just say, forget it, you go to jail? No, it's not the way I act, Ken. I don't act like that. I don't know Buyer of Sorts. I stopped watching him a while back. In a lot of ways, certain parts of the movement are over. Yeah, so much fighting, so much arguing, so much negativity in the field. I mean, yeah, Beaver, that's also true. Yeah, Six Estate, I would love to see that too, in all honesty. You know what, RES? I'd like to believe that, but you know what? I would say, without a doubt in my mind, at least 85% of his subscribers only watch for the entertainment value. So all they care about is seeing the next installment of what did CCW do. They don't care about anything else. That's it. They watch for the entertainment value. Well, DJ Gemini, if you do order them, I would love to take a peek at them. I won't steal your report. I just want to see what it says. The subject of furry comes up a lot and why she's doing, hey, Michigan, why she goes to a lot of religious locations. I mean, think about it, honestly. Furry is a mixed race, transgender, auditor. Auditors automatically come with look out for label. Now, furry has experienced a ton of bigotry and, things like that, even when she's not recording. I know it happens because I grew up with a lesbian mother. So, back in the 80s and early 90s and that, it was still hush hush. You didn't talk about it. So I knew a lot of transgender people in that, but they weren't open about it. But some of them, it was obvious. And whenever they were around religious people, the hate they got, be it in public or private, they still got a lot of hate. So Furry has her reasons. Leave it to Beaver. I don't know that, and honestly, I don't care. Mrs. Potato is a great person, a brilliant artist. Well, DDT, you don't have to agree. As long as she is legal, who are we to tell her she's doing it wrong? No, buyer of sorts, that's not. Furry did not come out and say that, and not to my knowledge. But I do know that I've watched I believe, every single one of Furry's audits or just recording of religious locations, be it Scientology or whatever. And she often talks about the bigotry she's experienced, the hate she's experienced. So, I mean, you don't think that gives her a good reason to want to? Hey, Ed, I mean, like I said, even if we don't agree with it, right or wrong, as long as she's legal, nobody can tell her that she's wrong. No, I get it, RAS. Beaver. Well, yeah, Michigan, I get that, but I also do say, I believe that the primary purpose of auditing should be the spread of knowledge. Period. Not the spread of hate, not the spread of angst, not not just because it gets views. Let's face it, a large percentage of viewers only watch because they want to see all the arrests, all the yelling, all the cursing, all that. Not all, Kent. You're doing the same thing that so many of the commenters on my videos do. You see, even if 85% of so-called auditors do that, that's still not all of us. If Furry was doing it so wrong, why does she keep winning her cases? Think about that. Yeah, exactly, Tex Rose. I mean, that's just a fact. Yeah, you're right, Flathead. It absolutely was. Byron Sorts, I don't know. I haven't watched him in a very long time, though. Well, Michigan, everybody has a right to say whatever they want, but we don't have to agree with them. I've been a furry supporter for a few years now. I appreciate what Furry has accomplished. I admire her bravery. I mean, like I said, having grown up in the LGBTQ world, well, there was no Q back then or nothing, but because of my mom being a lesbian and a gay rights activist, I was around a lot of them. I saw the bigotry that a lot of LGBT people experienced. It takes a certain, I mean, let's face it, guys, a mixed race transgender woman, Furry puts up with a lot. For her to put herself out there in the public's eye like that, if you don't think that's brave, then I'm sorry, but you got a skewed view on life. Kent, I don't defend it. I just have no right to tell them that they need to stop. Who am I to go up to a channel and say, stop calling yourself an auditor, go away, you're only hurting the movement? If that was the case, Beware Mouse would have been gone a long time ago. The fact is, we are stuck with it, and all I can do is try to help people differentiate between those of us that actually care and want to make a difference and those that only like to feel special on YouTube and earn money from ad revenue. You know, I can't tell you how many times I've been accused of only doing this for money. I I'm lucky to get one ad revenue payment of $100 every 3 or 4 months. I do say so, Ken. I do all the time. Yes, RS, that's well said. But you know, the bottom line is whether you appreciate what they do or not, whether you like their methods or not, I just hope they stay legal and they spread knowledge. MD, I allow certain people on there to talk because, you know, I had gotten to a point where I was so sick and tired of all the crap and tired of the fighting and all that. I had told my moderators just ban it all. Any of the fighting, any of the crap, get rid of it. And then I got accused of, oh, you're trying to control everybody. You don't believe in the First Amendment, blah, blah, blah. I can't win. If I allow them in here, then I'm not putting my foot down. But if I kick them out, then I don't believe in the First Amendment. There's no winning. Educator, thank you. But that's just a fact. No, I know, MD, but there's a lot of people that take what you say, they say it the same exact way, but with a completely different meaning. Just because I don't agree with what Eric, like for instance, Eric, when he gets irate and curses and screams and waves around his flags, I don't agree with it, but I have no right to tell him not to. All I can do is say that not all of us are like that. There's something for everyone. If you like that kind of stuff, go watch him. If you don't, watch me. Yes, Jeffrey. Michigan, I got a couple. I only got a couple. I'm working on building one leg right now, so I could at least work on the software. They come in sets of four. Well, it's not really a couple, and it's four. So I was able to get the one set, so at least I can work on one leg for now. And they're much bigger, much stronger freaking servos. I'll tell you that much, man. Holy crap! Yeah, I know, Patrick, but you're one of many. I can't tell you the amount of hate I got from people that were supposedly my friends and supported me because I'd gotten sick and tired of all the crap. Where did I put those? Let's see. Well, there's not a lot to show for it right now, but these are the new servos. The old ones were a quarter of this size. These things have a push rating of 12.5 kilograms. So I had to remake the foot pieces because the old ones were way too small. I mean, you can see, like, here's one of the older servos, and here's a new one. That blue thing is the old one. So the old leg pieces were too small, so I had to remake them. Ogden, okay, I'm trying to remember what your email address is, but try emailing me and I'll just reply. Yeah, like I said, Michigan, these ones here, they're 4 for $20. So I was able to get one set of 4, but yeah, MD, I was in there. Kind of bad. I could have used that drone. But I would have modified it. I would have put a longer range RF transmitter and receiver in there. But again, for anybody that's just walking in or whatever, Eric was found guilty of threats and disturbing the peace. The jury was back for less than 5 minutes. So, yeah, they really discussed that one. Chicago, hey man, I try. Brad D, don't, like I said, you may not agree with Eric's methods and all that, but that's your choice. Personally, I think, that particular incident. Now, I'm just going by that incident. He did not threaten anybody. Yes, he did disturb the peace. Yes, he got loud. Yes, he got irate. He was Eric. But he did not threaten anyone. So disturbing the peace, yes. Disorderly conduct, yeah. But not threats. Well, see, a lot of people also forget the First Amendment protects you from the government, not from a random YouTube chat stream. Yeah, you can keep saying a jury appears has spoken, but that jury did not speak. That jury cared about getting home, having a beer, and kicking back with some donuts. I'm sorry, but you're not doing your duty as a juror when you just go back there and say, hey, let's just say he's guilty, everybody go home. All right, DJ, thanks for swinging by, man. Good to see you. Because they were back for less than 5 minutes, Kevin. Exactly how much can a jury of that many people, how could they possibly discuss the case in its entirety and rule it against the law in less than 5 minutes? Man, you know what? People are so pathetic. They got such a sad life that they have to keep going and creating these stupid YouTube channel names just to be a pest. It's just ridiculous. Get a life. Yeah, Michigan, exactly. That's why I believe that should be the purpose of auditing. All right, Beaver. The purpose of auditing should be to help people understand their rights, to understand. I mean, let's face it, go up to an average person and ask them, what's a traditional public forum? I didn't know. I had no clue. I didn't even know until over a year after I got into this. And yet, it's one of the most important terms associated with auditing that there is. Yeah, Dan, I believe that. You're being detained. Now sit. Sit on the sidewalk. Brad, at what point did I run around? Okay, here's my opinion on Eric, okay? You really want me to just blare it all out there. My opinion on Eric is he has achieved great things in his history as an activist. When I first started watching him, I'd heard about his association with the paper terrorist and that whole spiel and how he was found not guilty and all that. And then I learned about his work with the homeless in Denver, his shoeless protest, all that stuff that he's achieved. I think is amazing. I think that's great. But Eric has changed over time. Some of that, one or two of them was dismissed, and then he was convicted on others, Vixen. Yeah, exactly, Tex Rose. But, over time, Eric has become, I guess you'd say, braver, I guess, for lack of a better way to put it. He's become more outspoken, more brash in what he says. Earlier today, Vixen, like shortly after the dismissed ones. But Yeah, I mean, Eric has I don't agree with his methods now, but again, as long as he's legal, I what right do I have to tell him to stop? I can only say, "Hey Eric, why do you do it that way? Can't you be a little more friendly, cordial, professional, whatever?" But Eric is Eric. Eric is going to do what Eric does. So, I mean, I have no right to tell him he's doing it wrong or to stop what he's doing. But I also don't run around saying, hey, everybody should act like Eric. Everybody should audit like Eric. Everybody should do what Eric does. I don't tell people that because I don't agree with what he's been doing. I personally think he would achieve more if he was more cordial, respectful until disrespected, but that's my opinion. The one thing I do know about Eric is he doesn't do anything without thinking it through. Eric does not just randomly run out and say and do things without considering the consequences. Hey, Steven. Eric, like, the $10,000 case, that's what people have been calling it. But with that case, I know, knowing Eric, I've talked to him offline before. I know how brilliant he is. I know that before he opened his mouth and said two words, he considered the ramifications of saying what he said. I don't agree with what he said at all, not even a little. But I know Eric enough to know that he considered all possible outcomes before he said a word. So I guess that's my view on Eric. I don't agree with the way he's changed and his methods now, but I do appreciate everything he's achieved, and I do know how smart he is. So people keep jumping on my case about why I support him, not just here, but in videos, comments, and all that. I mean, I see it daily, dozens of times a day. I don't even know why I bothered using StreamYard. Well, no, you're right, Judy. I agree. There is no way in hell that jury actually discussed the case, analyzed the evidence, compared the actions to the law. None of that took place at all. I'd bet anything that they walked in there, said, all right, let's get this over with. Yep, disturbing the peace. He was loud, obnoxious, irate. Yeah, he was disturbing the peace. Yeah, that other charge. Yeah, he's guilty too. Whatever. Let's go. That's probably pretty much how that went. I'm pretty sure I'm close. Tom, this isn't Mouse's channel. Don't start your crap here, man. I know you have your own opinions of us and whatnot. That's fine. All right, Lamley. Megan, most likely not. I doubt it. I mean, he may, if anything, he might have to do a couple months, like worst case scenario. More than likely, he's going to appeal. They're going to get tired of fighting him on it, and they'll either drop the charges or offer him something like disorderly conduct, and wipe it clean. That's my thoughts on that as far as whether or not he'll get time. He certainly is not going to get years. My concern is not this case at all. It's the ramifications of this case. If the guilty verdict is upheld and he still has to face the threatening a judge case. Being found guilty and upheld guilty, threatening some secretaries, that pretty much the writing is on the wall for threatening a judge. He was only found guilty of threats to secretaries. I don't know the exact wording of it, and disturbing the peace. Yeah, I know Tex Rose, but Eric knows how to tie them up in courts for years. Yeah, 6 Estate, like I said, I'm worried about how the cases are going to affect each other. Calling somebody and cursing them out is not threats. I agree that they want to make an example of him. I absolutely agree on that. Without a doubt. I mean, they tried to give the man 6 months for liquefying chalk and riding on the sidewalk with it. I mean, come on. Yeah, there you go. Enunciate it. If you don't know what that means, clearly define it. I mean, I do agree. Yes, they're going to try to throw the book at him. They're going to try to make an example of him. But Eric also knows he knows how to keep it going. Like I said, Eric's a very brilliant man. So, no, if anything, if you hate him, hate what he does, hate what he stands for, hate everything about him, the fact is he is still a very intelligent man. So that much I have to give him. Hey, Paul. Yeah, Tex Rose, no, New York is the same. I had cases I intentionally dragged out because I knew the longer I dragged it out, the more likely it would be that they would drop it or offer, something silly like disorderly conduct. Yeah, I learned that early on. Yeah, 6 Estate. See, the thing about that, though, is, of course, feelings. We know that that's not a threat. We know in the eyes of the law that's just a wish, or I forgot what the other word would be now. But yeah, see, juries aren't going to look at that though. Juries are not going to say, "Oh, look at what the law says." No, I didn't, Tex Rose. That's cool. That's good to hear. But that's the downfall of having jury trials. Today was just a perfect example. Perfect example of you know, verdict by feelings. Yes, he does post sham love. You're absolutely right, Tom. He does. And I don't agree with that. I don't at all. But if he's legal, he's legal. Period. All right, Tex Rose. I mean, that's just the bottom line. That's like somebody saying, I think your high heels are too loud on the pavement. I want you arrested. Walking down the street in high heels is perfectly legal. People may not like it, but it's legal. I mean, I use that, examples like that all the time in my comment sections. I'm like, walking around a police station on the sidewalk with a camera, filming everything I can see or hear, is just as legal as walking down the street. Tom, I watched it live, and that's not what he said. He didn't call for it. Like I said, I don't agree with what was said that day. I don't agree with what he said, but how he said it on a traditional public forum falls under the First Amendment. It also falls under all the Supreme Court rulings of language that it is vulgar, obscene, or otherwise offensive is protected speech. Tom, the jury didn't do anything. My God, people need to stop saying that. The jury might as well have not existed today. He might as well have walked in there with a verdict already hanging over his head, because the jury did not convict him. The jury walked into a room, turned around, walked out, and said guilty. That's it. They did not analyze the case. Hey, Carolina. They did not analyze the evidence. They did not discuss what was said versus what the law is. They did not do anything like that at all. Buyer of sorts. See you later. Tom, because they came back in less than 5 minutes. That's why. It is impossible for a jury with that many people to discuss a case like that with more than one charge. Go away. He did not, there's no way in hell that they analyzed the case. No way, not possible. Stephen, we're not talking about you and your third leg there. Agent Gray, no, I know that for a fact. That's an absolute fact. There is no way in hell that, what was there, 8 jurors on this one? How is it that 8 people could sit down and discuss all the evidence, discuss the video footage, discuss phone calls, discuss how it pertains to the law, all of that in less than 5 minutes? Explain that. How is that remotely possible? That's literally one of those, yep, okay, buried. That verdict was decided on before they even walked into that room. Agent Gray, evidence is evidence, period. A video footage that jurors rewatch video footage. They analyze the footage. They go discuss the footage. They compare it to what the law is. They don't just look at a video during court from a distance and say, yeah, I remember everything about that video. Agent Gray, you've never talked with him. That much I can guarantee. You've never sat down and actually talked to him offline. I've done it a couple of times. Not many, but a couple of times. Enough to know, because frankly, I know how smart I am. So I know Eric's very smart. So you don't have to agree with me. Tom, if you're talking about me, I'm in no way a wannabe attorney. I would never be an attorney. Absolutely not. I'm not a wannabe attorney. But I'm smart enough to know that there's no way in hell 8 people discussed a case with multiple charges in less than 5 minutes. I don't care if you believe me. Not at all. I learn new stuff about the law all the time. Okay, 12, I don't care. I've always avoided jury duty. I don't care. I know that I could not make a fair and impartial judgment on most types of cases. So I always make sure that I'm not on the jury. Now you're just being an idiot, Tom. Flat out. Just because I don't run around agreeing with you and your silly little comments all the time does not mean that. Go ahead, keep saying that. You want to get blocked? Go ahead. I have no shame in blocking you. You want to be stupid? Nightly heart pill. Tell you, it sucks having to take a bunch of heart meds every day. Yeah, Patrick, the preliminary vote, you're right. I don't care. I love when they say triggered, because I'm completely anti-triggered. That's what's funny. They say that crap all the time. That's their out. That means they failed. So they automatically try to divert their fail onto you. They say, oh, you're triggered. You're triggered. So stupid. Yeah, unfortunately, Hesperia, you're right. The fact is, yeah, no, you're deflecting, dummy. You're the one that cannot back up anything you say at all. Yeah, rude boy, I went through that too. Wasn't my brother, but I was prosecuted, sat in a cell for a long time, had to fight it, had to get it. It took me more than twice as long as I was in jail to get it overturned and expunged, and tons of money. My only saving grace was I was 17 at the time when I had gotten arrested. And you get your YO. If you don't know what that is, look it up. It's your youthful offender. Yeah, RES, that would be the 10th. I try to tell people that too all the time. 10th Amendment. Read it. The 10th Amendment is so much more important than people realize. Well, Rude Boy, I don't know. I don't even know if Eric would want them to. Oh, now you're gonna say I looks like some, huh? Wow. We've made it to third grade, people. Well, the Constitution gives you that right, Stephen. Ironically. Not even sixth grade, Rude Boy, man. They resort to like, oh, you're a dummy. And that's supposed to be like their like ultimate insult. I love the ones that are like, oh, you guys must all be homeless fat donut eaters that, couldn't fight anybody. I'm like, yeah, come on. Let me know when you're in Rochester, New York. I get it all the time in my video comment sections. Sixth Estate just went to fourth grade. New York. Ah, now I get Ronald visiting me. How nice. Nobody's here. Okay. Man, this is after over an hour now. We've calmed down. We're just shooting the breeze now. Oh, you're familiar with Ronald Shaitan? Yep. Don't go for that deep dish stuff, man. A nice thin crust, sprinkle some red pepper flakes and some garlic powder. You fold it in half. Yep, that's true New York pizza. Fire. I know a certain rodent you could give it to. Pizza casserole. That just sounds wrong. Hey, Lisa. Unless you're just another name. Pizza in a cup. Well, it's kind of a catch-22, Stephen, because the entire purpose at least speaking from an auditing perspective, from an auditor perspective, those of us that believe in this, it's all based on believing in the law, supporting the law, the First Amendment. So to say that following the law is a slave to the government, it kind of contradicts the fact that we're trying to impress upon people their legal rights. Well, aren't the right our constitutional rights are the ultimate law. They're the ultimate governing law of the land. And until such time as, Supreme Court or whatever changes that, that is supposed to be the final factor in any decision. Like with Eric's case, did it fall under the First Amendment? Is that applicable to his case? Now, this particular case, it's different in that it was inside the office. It was not out on a traditional public forum. So it starts to fall under more policy governed things. Like when you're inside an office, a police department, whatever, you have to follow their policies, especially if you exceed the public property and move into publicly accessible, like the foyer prior to security checkpoint, public property, beyond a security checkpoint, publicly accessible. There's all those factors that a lot of people forget. Carolina, on the case of Eric at the public defender's office, the threats and oh my God, losing my train of thought now. Disturbing the peace. He was found guilty on those. No, Mr. RS, that's not true. When you are in a public property, like you say you're in a police station and you're in public property, now that's foyer, whatever, they have the right to trespass you. So if you don't follow their policies, they can trespass you from that property. If you're in publicly accessible, then it's a whole nother level. Like if you walk into public property, you have your camera, you're filming, that's fine. But if they have a policy that says you will be trespassed if you come in here with a camera, you have to follow that. That's the mistake a lot of people make. You can be trespassed from public property. That is my point. If they have a policy that says X and you are doing X, they can trespass you from there. That's a big difference between traditional public forum and public property. So it's just like the whole post office thing. People kept saying poster 7, poster 7, poster 7. People didn't read the second frickin' sentence of the photography section that said except where prohibited by. That introduced a policy that dictated if a sign or a directive or security personnel or authorized personnel say you cannot film, then you cannot film, period. Mr. Arias, no, I'm not. I'm just acknowledging the fact that you can be trespassed from public property. You can be trespassed from a police station. You can be trespassed from a library, a museum, a post office, a welfare building. Because you can be trespassed from those places in accordance with their policy, then you're screwed. Well, actually, the jail inside the jail is private, but you can be trespassed from public property. There's a difference between public property and traditional public forum. Walmart and all that's private, so it doesn't matter. Mr. Arya, oh my God. I'm not trying to argue with you. I'm trying to tell you. If you can be trespassed from there, they can write whatever policy they want within reason, of course. They can't say, oh, because you're Hispanic, you're trespassed. Whatever. But they can, no, it's not, dude. Go to a police station and ask them if they can trespass you. Guess what? They can. If they believe you are causing a disturbance, they can trespass you. If you're yelling and screaming and kicking and moaning or whatever, they can trespass you. You're not getting that. Once they say you're trespassed, if you don't leave, they can arrest you. That's their loophole, is trespassing. That's the loophole for them. Is by their sorts, as long as it falls under their policy for trespassing, within reason. It cannot be racial. It cannot be bigotry, anything that's protected like that. They cannot trespass you just for coming in because you're white. That would be racial. They cannot trespass you because you're wearing purple socks. But if you're coming in there with a camera and they believe you're causing a disturbance, like say you're walking to a police station and there's a family there with children and they're trying to report something related to the children and you're recording, they can say, excuse me, sir, if you don't stop recording these people, I'm going to ask you to leave and I'm going to trespass you. They can consider that a disturbing the peace or whatever. They can say whatever they want within that guideline. Okay, you know what? Don't believe me then, man. Next time you go and get trespassed from a public property and get arrested, I don't know what to tell you. You're going to lose. That's why Pink Karen Magic and Chi-Town Sue went through that at the post office. Everybody thought they were going to beat it. The Poster 7 lets them, blah, blah, blah. Guess what? They realized they couldn't. They realized that once they were trespassed and told to leave, and they didn't leave, that they were trespassing, which means they had to. No, but they could, in 6 states, there's a difference between disturbing the peace in public as an illegal thing and just disturbing the peace within their facility. The bottom line is if you break their guidelines for what they consider trespassable, I don't even know if that's a word, but either way, they can trespass you. And if you don't leave, they can have you arrested. Yes, you can go to court. You can fight it. Maybe you'll win. Is it worth it? What have you accomplished by doing that? Yeah, RES, that's the problem. That's the problem. Not everybody can afford to go and fight it through the courts. Not everybody can afford to go and sit in a jail cell just because their rights say that trespass was wrong. Not every that's why I say it's their loophole, because they know 99% of people are not going to fight it. 99% of people can't afford to fight it. Not every one of us can get online and say, "Hey, I need help," and get $10,000 in 23 hours or whatever. February. Yeah, RS, yeah, we can call it all we want. The fact of the matter is they can still follow their policies and arrest us. And if we can afford to fight it, what's the end result? What did we achieve? Now we're stuck sitting in a jail cell, no bond money, no one to take care of our families if that's applicable or whatever. That's where they get that loophole. Yeah, it would be great if we could all fight it and get it changed so that they could never do that. What are you saying? Say thanks to him. I told you first. That ain't right. You're right, News Now Michigan. I actually did an interview video with my oldest daughter a couple years ago, talking about how she didn't know jack about the Constitution, and she was in 10th grade at the time, I believe, or 11th grade. She knew nothing about the amendments. But like I said, the bottom line is for me, I think that auditing should be about spreading knowledge, about trying to encourage like voting for better candidates instead of people voting for, the lesser evil. RAS, yeah, I agree. We can say it all we want, but okay, then what? They escort us out of the building or they put cuffs on us. We need to take it to the lawmakers, take it to the Capitol buildings, take it to governors and senators' offices. Try and actually talk to these people. Make videos about spreading that knowledge and getting that change. Yeah, people only. The problem is that will never ever happen, ever. I don't care if every American citizen picks up a gun and walks towards Washington D.C. That will make not one bit of change. Yeah, exactly. I'm about spreading the knowledge, talking to them, trying to get them to understand our point of view, not yelling and cursing and whatever. I mean, to each their own. I don't agree with it personally. I know a lot of people don't agree with me, but well, that's theirs. They have every right to. Yeah, this country was born proving them wrong by fighting a monarchy 200 some odd years ago. We're now a country of 350 million people, the largest known army in the world, or at least the most technologically advanced army and military in the world, all under the control of the government. Every American citizen picks up a gun, storms Washington, D.C. They just let off some bombs and blow us all up. Problem solved. They get to start all over. Sure, they can. When those 554 have How many tens of thousands of bombs? How many thousands of tanks and fighter jets and battleships and all that? They can sit there in their nice little bunkers and just push the little buttons that blow us all up. What does that achieve? A whole lot of dead people. Change has to be made through knowledge, through getting in people that are better, that will make a change, that'll be willing to make the change. RS, they don't have to. Most of the bombs these days are all freaking computer controlled. You think if the government doesn't tell the operator of the bombs, hey, we're going to give you a mansion with a couple Lamborghinis and all the hookers you want, if you just play with that joystick and blow these people up, you don't think there's going to be a few people that will do it? That's my point. It is, no matter what we say, there's always going to be somebody against us. So we need to do it the right way. I mean, look at, in the end, how was change made? Yeah, we had our wars, we had the revolution, all that. Yeah, that was all fine and dandy. But it wasn't until the Constitution was written and the amendments where the Bill of Rights was ratified that true changes were being made. So that's what we need, is that knowledge, not bombs, not war. Yeah, we can tell them all till we're blue in the face. We need to show them, vote them out, get rid of the ones that are standing up and being tyrannical, for lack of a better way to put it. I'm so sick of that word. Well, yes, because they have no limitations. They get to, because nobody votes them out. Yeah, well, RES, I'm telling you now, it won't work. They won't. No, it has nothing to do with the AI being perfected. Technology is more than far enough along for them to do it. Yeah, you know what? People keep saying that shit happened when there was what, couple 100,000 people in this country, maybe a million at most. When we weren't all dependent on that. When people actually had farms and hunted and they didn't have to worry about coming up with money to go to the store to feed their family. Times are very different now than they were back then. You know what happens when they shut down all the stores? Guess what? People start raping and pillaging each other. They won't even care about the government. You really think 350 million people are going to pick up a hunting rifle and go out and get their own food? I'll tell you what, if we're forced, the government shuts down making money or whatever, our money value drops, stores shut down. Guess what happens? You either starve or you hunt. Now you got millions, hundreds of millions of people that you got to feed. All of a sudden, wild game is gone. All the cow stock is gone. That doesn't mean anything, RES. Not at all. Means nothing. That's just the bottom line is we are too dependent on money. We're too dependent on corner stores, grocery stores. We are too dependent on all that. This government, or this country, I mean, if our economy collapsed and there was another civil war, I mean, look at what happened during the Civil War. How many people died? You know, how many people starved to death, froze to death? Now we've got, I mean, the population then compared to now, it's not even comparable. You can't even fathom a civil war today. Because that's what it would be. Because there's still people that truly believe in this government. There are people, many, many people that support our current government. I mean, obviously, they voted that fool in. Yeah, MD, the thing is, they don't have to. That's all already been taken care of. I mean, people can just, he's a fool. Sorry, but he's a fool. Okay, RES, but what does that have to do with anything? I don't care if everybody carried a freaking bazooka. That still isn't going to stop the group of guys sitting in a freaking bunker in the mountain with full control over thousands of weapons. Doesn't matter at all. I mean, I'm glad for you. I support the Second Amendment. I understand urban warfare just fine. I grew up in the freaking ghetto, okay? I know exactly what it's all about. But I also know that it would be really silly to go after our government with guns. It's kind of like RAS was saying, is opening people's eyes to the fact that those policies about trespass being wrong. It's spreading knowledge. Buyer of sorts, have you ever seen satellites with infrared? I've actually seen the satellite footage where they do zoom in on the woman on the beach. They do zoom in on infrared vision from frickin' space. And those same people have control of those satellites. That gives them all the GPS they need. It gives them the access they need to all the weapons. That's why they say war isn't fought with soldiers anymore. It's fought with computers and joysticks. Not much to hear, Michigan Mister. He was convicted of threats and disturbing the peace from the incident at the public defender's office. Because buyer of sorts, there's first off, they don't want to get rid of the soldier. Having lots of soldiers means it's basically having a who's got the bigger pecker syndrome. How you can't show off your military without showing off your soldiers. Second of all, there are still things they use soldiers for simply because it makes more sense. There's some instances where they use the soldiers because, hey, they don't want to blow up the whole building and kill the women and children. They just want to get the tall, ugly guy with the long beard. Anyways, I've been on here for almost 2 hours. I need to go outside, have a cigarette, and stretch out and whatever. It's been fun. It's been real. I know we don't all agree, and I do agree that we do need a better government. I do not deny that. And, I believe we need to make change. I just don't agree it's going to be done with weapons. That's my opinion. RES, I respect you, man. I'm not trying to say you're wrong and I'm right. I'm just saying I have a different opinion. So, as always, if anybody wants to support the channel, the GoFundMe is in the description. Otherwise, I just appreciate shooting the breeze and, hopefully Eric will get this taken care of. So, and just remember, everybody, 0404.